Hey, this is DraftJoker at ReconNetworks.net bringing you some more excellent C++ tutorials. Okay, today's lesson is in basic output. This includes basic std commands as well as the main function and the IOStream header file. This tutorial assumes you have your own compiler ready and are familiar with its process of compiling. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into the code. First we're going to begin with our C++ standard header file. Okay, and what this line does is it tells the processor to include the file IOStream. Different compilers might not be up to date as Visual C++, which is what I'm using, so it might not have the .h extension depreciated. So if it gives you an error during runtime, you might have to include the .h. However, Visual C does not need it, so we're going to go ahead and delete that. Alright, the standard header file IOStream is used for basic input and output commands for C++ programs. All that's needed to know really about it for now is that it's needed to compile basic programs that basically just input and output to the command window. So really we're not going to dwell too much on the subject on this tutorial, maybe in future tutorials, but for now we're going to go ahead and skip down to our main function. And our main function is actually where the program actually begins. It's important to know that the main, although being a special function, is indeed still a function and can be called as needed. We'll get deeper into that later on when we use special attributes of the main function to control the window. But for now, we just basically want a regular window, so we're going to leave the integer main as is. These curly brackets facing in and out signify the beginning of a control structure. The control structure being the integer main. The brackets declare the beginning and the ending of the closest control structure, that control structure being the integer main. So it's important to know that, however, it is not limited to only opening and closing functions, but also regulates if flatters, switch statements, classes, etc. It's important to know because functions are not the only ones that are allowed to be controlled. So we're going to go ahead and type the main statement of this tutorial, and I'm going to type it up real quick, and I'll explain it when I'm done. Alright, this is actually the most complicated piece of code in this entire tutorial, and what this does is it uses the command cout from the namespace std, which is short for standard. The standard namespace includes more C++ objects like cin and cout. But however, what actually lets you access the command cout is these two semicolons in the middle. What they do is they grant temporary access to the object preceding it. It's very important to know that the access is temporary and must be declared every time that specific command is used. Like, if we wanted more couts, we'd have to complement them with stds. Yeah, okay. These two output signs inserts the data following it into the stream preceding it. What it means is it takes this string literal, which is a constant string, and sends it to this stream, the cout stream, and that displays to the console. Cout, which is short for console out. Well, at least that's how I remember it. So what these two segments do is it uses the command cout from the namespace std and takes this literal, which is a constant, and inserts the data into the command. Yeah, complicated. Yeah, believe me, it is going to get a lot worse. Hopefully you follow that, and we'll follow this next section. What this does now is, again, we use the namespace std to get temporary access to one of the commands. This command, however, being endl. Endl, I believe, is short for end line, which actually ends the line, skips down a line in the command window of the when the program is actually executed. So that's the main bulk of the program. Oh, and at the end, what you have is the semicolon, and what this does is it marks the end of a statement. All expressions or statements must end with the semicolon. No functions and includes are not statements, so that's why this function does not include a semicolon at the end, and neither does the include iostream. Okay, let's follow this process one more time real quick so you can get a firm grasp of the basics. Okay, first we use the command cout, which is granted which we are granted temporary access to because of the semicolons in the namespace std or standard. Okay, then we take this literal string constant. It's called constant because it cannot be edited. Whatever's there is there. Later on we'll get on to variables and strings and all that great stuff, but for now we're sticking to the basic hello world. So it takes the string hello world and inserts it into the data preceding it, which is the cout, which prints out to the console. And so that's those two lines, and the line following that, this std, actually prints the end line to the hello world, then prints out to the console. For now, all you need to know is that this means print out to the window, this is a constant, and this means skip a line. This, however, the endl also does some other stuff. It flushes the current buffer, but this will be explained in future tutorials, so no need to worry about it for now. So that is the main section of our code, and what is needed now is to end the function, because if we declared it, we might as well end it. We end the current function by returning a variable. Returning 0 signifies the exit success of a program. The return, most functions must return data type except for void. In the main function, however, this denotes successful closing of your program. In future tutorials, when we have separate functions which can do separate items, we will return variables specific to what the function was supposed to do, and that's complicated. We'll get into that in the future. For now, hopefully, I hope you enjoyed this short tutorial on the basics of C++, and if you need any more clearing up or any more, as you can say, help, log on to www.ReconNetworks.net and join the forums. They're a great bunch of helpful people. Thanks for watching my video. Later.